Hey everybody, it's Nathaniel Avila reporting from Dallas County, and I'm here with who am I here with?
Hi, you're here with Ruby Rodriguez, she, her pronouns. Um,
Boo.
Here with Serenity Robledo, also she, her pronouns.
Boo.
Why boo? Yeah, why boo? You're boo, Nate.
Okay.
Boo.
And new,
What are your pronouns, Nate?
he, him.
Okay. And then we are joined with special guest, Analiese White. And she is
Yay!
a filmmaker. She's also a writer, and she's also a director. So yes, queen.
My name is Analiese White. I'm a filmmaker, I'm a writer, I'm a director, I'm all of those things, and my pronouns are she, her.
Okay.
Awesome. So before we get started on today's episode, if you want to give like any details about any movies that you have coming up, Annalise, or anything that you're currently working on, or anything that you really just want to shout out there for people to hear.
Sure. I just graduated from UTA, and my final advanced film that I filmed was called Portrait of My Father, and it's in post right now still. I'm hoping to kind of finish it up soon and, get it into the festival circuit. So, yeah.
Did you?
What is that film about? Or
So,
just like
I'll give you the log line. I have it.
Yeah.
Ben, a young father who has just experienced a significant loss, contemplates how to react to his young son exhibiting interest in something traditionally feminine.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
Me. And that's so fitting for this episode because we are actually filming this episode during Pride Month, which is June. So happy Pride to all of our LGBTQ babies out there. Since we are kind of, celebrating Pride with this episode, I did want to ask a quick question just in regards to the whole Pride Month, because a lot of people are still very uneducated. A lot of people still have old mindsets that they don't want to change. So it's important for there to always be like awareness and things like that. So I had a question that I just wanted to like chat with everyone about in the group. And I wanted to ask, do you think that it is important for the LGBTQ community to have ally support? And why do you think it's important? And anybody can answer. It's just a discussion, just a small discussion that I wanted to have before we get into our episode topic. Well, of course, it's pretty apparent. I'm a big ally. I kind of feel like maybe stuff is still hidden within me at that, like I'm finding out so many things about different sexualities and learning about pronouns and stuff like that. I was like, hey, maybe I wasn't just experimenting with girls back then. Maybe I actually liked girls. I don't know. But I am happily married right now. So to a straight cis male. And that's lovely. It's going great. But I would obviously say that I think that the support from an ally is very important. And I think it's very necessary. Because like I said, there's so many people who are very uneducated and still living in like the old mindset. And there's a lot of stigma, around people who are gay or anything that's not straight. So I feel like kids, especially the youth, the LGBTQ youth, need a lot of support because during that time, in that age of teenagers or adolescents, there are a lot of things that are hard, especially nowadays. So on top of that, they have to worry about this and they have to worry about being free to be themselves among people. And so I think that it is very important. What do you guys think? Anybody else want to chime in?
I think that, well, I do agree that it's important to have support, of course, because that's the only way that there can be change. And I also think that it's also important to leave room for LGBT people to, like, I guess, speak for themselves, because so many, it's important, like, for people to, if they have a platform, to speak on it, of course. But then also when it comes to, like, especially creating things, like creating stories, creating movies, all those kinds of things, to let people who know what they're talking about, like LGBT people make LGBT stories. And the same can be said for a lot of minorities, like to let them tell their own stories. So but of course the platforms to be able to do that come with having support, because that's the only way there can be change. So yes,
that's exactly how I feel too. And every time I see a movie that contains, anything LGBTQ, I, am very honored to read it and very excited at the same time to share it with everyone, because I feel like that's a way of showing your support as well, through your art. And I agree 100% completely with you. They should be allowing, the true people of that community to, speak for the work that's being done, because that's super important. Because we can, as allies, we can pretend to know and be empathetic and be sympathetic as much as we want, but we have to allow the community to have their space as well, the person who needs the space as well. But I really just want everyone's support to at least be, you can talk to me, like just come and talk to me and I won't judge you for that. I know how hard that can be. There's so many kids out there that can't even talk to their own parents about it, or anyone in their family for that matter. So I really hope that at least people will be willing to, I guess, be more open to it.
Hey, Ruby. You can
Yes.
talk to me.
I can talk to you.
Yes.
I know that. I can talk to everyone because I have a good support system, unlike a lot of other people.
Yeah. You can talk to me because I'm relatable. You can tell by my backwards hat. I would also sit on my chair backwards, but this is a rolling chair. I can't really do it.
I get it. I get you with the hat. The hat is enough.
Okay. Hey, Serenity, do I look cool? Like a fellow kid?
A fellow kid.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I was about to be like, you gotta go like this. You gotta go.
Is that a thing people do now?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If you want to be truly like the kids of today's age, you got to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
it's no longer just the dab.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna wear a shirt that says like rock band on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right. What's our next thing?
So again, happy Pride Month, and we are going to go into our topic episode, which is films that were adapted from books. Right?
Yeah.
Don't be yawning.
I was sleeping just before I got on here.
You're gonna make me yawn, and then all of us are gonna yawn.
Okay. Annaliese, do you want to go first?
Sure. I prepared questions. I don't know if I had to, but I did prepare.
Oh, you can. Whatever you want to do during your time, with your pick, whatever film you pick, go ahead. It's time to get wacky.
Yeah. As long as there's no Timothée Chalamet in it.
You have my word.
Okay, thank goodness.
And I extended it a little bit to book to TV adaptations, because those are also getting popular.
Okay.
So first, I want to ask, what's your favorite book to movie adaptation?
Oh yeah, that's what we're gonna be talking about today.
Yeah.
We're like.
So I picked. Go ahead, Nate.
Oh, I was gonna do Psycho by Hitchcock, the psychological horror thriller that came out in 1960. What about you, Ruby?
I'm gonna talk about The Color Purple. That was it's a novel by Alice Walker, and actually winner of the Pulitzer Prize as well.
Oh, mine was based on a novel by Robert Bloch.
Did you read the novel?
I did not read the novel.
Yeah.
What about you, Serenity? As long as it has no Chalamet.
I didn't agree to that, so
That
I chose "Call Me by Your Name."
no.
I mean, cue Little Nas X Montero song. Yeah. Call me by your. I did choose "Call Me by Your Name" because it was it started out as a novel and then became a movie, and it has Timothy Chalamet in it.
Boo.
Why is it? Did you read the book?
No. I asked that same question. I said, "Do you even have that book?" And she's like, "No." But she claims to be the biggest fan. I've done enough studying to not need to read the book. She read the clip notes.
My favorite is one of my favorites is the movie Room.
Oh my god, that movie was so sad.
I read the book is so good. It's from the point of view of the little boy.
I don't even want to read that book.
It's good. It's good. It's not so. I guess it's sad until they escape, which is not a spoiler because that's in the trailer of the.
Right.
But yeah, I read the book. That's one of those that I watched the movie first, and then I decided it was my favorite movie, and so then I read the book, which normally, coming out of my YA book phase, coming into adulthood, I would always, if they were making a movie of my favorite book, I had already read the book, of course, so it was different to watch it first, and then if you watch it first and then read the book, it kind of feels like you're just getting a bunch of extra information about people and characters you already like. Whereas if you the book first and then watch the movie, it's like you're getting less and you feel like they leave things out.
Oh, always.
So what is a book to movie adaptation that you feel like they ruined the source material?
Oh, I already know. I can tell you right now.
Is it Harry Potter?
No, because I haven't read the books for Harry Potter. Did they ruin it? So maybe they did ruin that.
Oh, well, they kind of stopped.
I'm not a big fan of J.K. Rowling, just so you know. She did one great thing.
Okay, what was it?
So mine was the first Twilight movie. Oh. The very first one, they freaked it up. Okay. I have actually talked to her about it before. I'm like, I'm gonna start a petition and make them redo that first movie. She's like, they can't redo the first. I'm like, yes, they fucking can because they're way off. The book is totally different. Mm-hmm. So I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
So it just kind of sucked when you get to read the book and you see it, the story. Because then you can see where, they messed up. And you're like, oh, they should have added that in, So.
Yeah. Did you read 50 Shades of Grey?
I only watched the movies.
Okay. I also read the fan fiction that it was based off of.
Oh, Lord. There was a fan fiction first?
Yeah, it was.
It was Twilight fan fiction.
Yeah.
It was Twilight fan fiction.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What? Oh my god, I didn't know that.
And you know that the movie After was actually based off of a One Direction fan fiction?
Yeah. And speaking of someone I read the original.
The original fan fiction?
Very notorious. The original fan fiction because your girl is a directioner to this day. And I just have to say, I am disturbed that they made anything out of it at all. It should not have been published. It was fine as a fan fiction. It reads like a fan fiction. You could have just left it as a fan fiction. It was fine existing in its little corner of the internet on Wattpad. Why did you have to bring it out into the light?
Yeah.
This should never.
They don't have any ideas anymore. They're running out of ideas. Actually, I've never seen After. I'm the only one who's watched After. She's never watched After.
I watched it because I wanted to laugh at it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very, very laughable.
So
Yeah,
Serenity.
I watched, but like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm talking all this shit, but I did watch both movies.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I could not get over like the first one because I went to the theaters to watch it. My husband was reading the books, and he was like, come watch the movie with me. And I went to go watch the first movie with him, and I'm sorry, I was like laughing through some of the scenes. I was like, what?
It's not good. It's not good. It's one of those like trashy, like you watch it because it's bad. It's like The Kissing Booth. Like you watch it because it's bad.
I think so too.
So Ruby,
That being said, the book to movie adaptation that is my villain origin story is it's called The Darkest Minds. It came out in 2018. The movie did. But the books I read in 8th grade. Well, I read the first one in 8th grade. I read them as they came out. The trilogy is called The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. To be fair, I haven't read them since I was in 10th grade, but like just fantastic, amazing, show-stopping, 10 out of 10. And they had like everything lined up. Like they had really good casting. Amanda Stenberg as the main character, and like everybody else like looked a lot like their characters. Mandy Moore was in it. I love Mandy Moore. Everything was like set up for it to be amazing, and then it sucked so bad. I have never like I've never been so let down. Another one that's really bad is The Fifth Wave, because that was another one I read in my like 8th grade YA frenzy.
We only watched that. It's a movie. Yeah, that movie sounded. It's that movie. It's with Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
They definitely do this thing. They do this thing with with YA books. They like when they adapt them into movies, they like teeny bopify it. Like they think teenage girl.
You can tell like how out of touch they are with
right, like it was written by 50-year-old men because they think that teenage girls want to see like the love interest like staring longingly into each other's eyes in like really awkward scenarios, and like no, like teenage girls can appreciate depth and plot and character development just as much as anybody else. That used to, being a teenage girl who was really, I read for like a lot. I'm a reader, and that's something that really annoys me and always has. Is just like young women are smart. Please give us depth.
That's why I almost nearly chose Little Women as my favorite adaptation, because that's another one where it's like women, are more than just women.
I don't know. It's kind of lame when you choose something that's in the public domain.
What do you mean?
It's like my favorite book adaptation is Sense and Sensibility.
You said Psycho.
Come on.
That was
Psycho.
How do you know if they don't love that story?
That was made in 1959. It wasn't like an American literature classic.
That's like you getting mad for someone picking Pride and Prejudice with what's her name? Who's the main character on that one? What's her name? The Pirates of the Caribbean.
Miss Prejudice. Polly Prejudice.
What's her name?
Polly Prejudice and Peter Pride.
No, the actor.
You're talking about Knightley.
The main girl that comes on Pirates of the Caribbean. She's the girl that everybody loves.
What was it? Zoe Saldana?
No, shut your mouth. You know who I'm talking about.
Hold on. The Calypso lady?
I know her name. Oh my god. Elizabeth? Is it Elizabeth? She's like British.
Keira Knightley.
British. Yeah, Keira Knightley. There you go. Her.
Okay.
Let's pick that one. Although there is a movie that I just recently saw that's a movie based off a book that was based off of that movie. If that makes sense. It's called Austin Land.
Okay.
Have you seen it? It has Carrie Wilson in it. It's just like a cute little feel-good movie. It's called Austin Land.
Okay.
It's really funny. It has Jennifer Coolidge, who is, I feel like, always a great supporting actor. She's so good. She's so funny in that movie. Then like this pirate is telling this. No, I'm not gonna spoil it for you. Just watch it.
The spoiling by like telling me what the framing device is.
All right.
It's like what I'm talking about.
Did you have more questions, Annalise?
Yeah.
It's like when I'm talking about The Princess Bride and be like, so it starts off, a kid is sick, right? But his grandpa came in and tells him, wait, no, I'm not going to say. That's a big spoiler. Major spoiler.
No, mine wasn't anything like that.
Okay. Okay, what were you going to say?
I wanted to briefly talk about book to TV adaptations because those are becoming more and more popular. And there's one that's been heavy on my mind for like the last couple months.
Which one?
It's called Shadow and Bone on Netflix.
What?
Shadow and Bone. It was like when it came out at the end of April, and it was like there was a lot of buzz about it, like right after it happened, and then it kind of died off. But they're getting a season 2. It's based off of, in my opinion, like some of the greatest books in the world. But yeah, they did a weird thing with it so it takes place in a fantasy world, and Leigh Bardugo is one of those authors who can't write in anything other than this fantasy world that she created. So there's like 3 different series that all take place like in this world, and then so the show adapts 2 of the series. They like mushed them together and like made a show. They combined all the characters and all the storylines. Which I was very conflicted about. I know a lot of fans of the books were very conflicted about, especially the books are, so there's the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and then there's the Six of Crows duology. And it's like widely accepted that Six of Crows is just better. So as someone who only read Six of Crows and who only cared about Six of Crows, I know a lot of people were very hesitant about how they were going to intertwine the storylines. But that's just me talking about Shadow and Bone. I could talk forever about Shadow and Bone. I watch it all in a day, and I'm rewatching it.
What kind of fantasy world is it? Like, what kind of, do they have witches, vampires, werewolves?
She created this, like, these Grisha, which are, like, people who have abilities. They have powers. And there's 3 different orders of Grisha. There's Corporalnik, and they can deal with, like, they can manipulate the body. So there's healers and heartrenders. They can, like, take your body apart or stitch it back up. Then there's, like, fabricators. They deal with, like, metals and materials. And then I forget the name of the last one, but they do, like, organic materials, like earth and fire and...
But is this supposed to be, like, on Earth, like, at a different time? Okay.
It's like... It's one of those books that when you open it, there's a map. So like she created a whole like universe, like it's
kind of like Lord of the Rings, Hobbit.
Yeah, people have been comparing it to Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know about that. Have y'all watched Game of Thrones?
I love Game of Thrones.
We won't talk about the last season because that's another one. That is a special.
We won't talk about the last episode.
Let's not. We'll be here for hours. Yeah. I will never forgive how they did Daenerys.
Yeah.
I think we actually covered that when it first like ended. We had a guest and we covered that. So yeah we let off on that episode.
So yeah, I'm gonna watch Game of Thrones on VidAngel because I haven't watched it
at all.
No, I'm gonna watch it on VidAngel.
You have so much to catch up on.
I know.
Like, there's too many. Like, I haven't watched it.
Don't worry. I'm going to watch it on VidAngel, which...
Why don't you and Serenity do that as your next reaction thing?
So I already chose it already.
Because y'all both haven't watched it together. I'm not into Game of Thrones. But it is really explicit. Like, they be having some...
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm going to watch it on VidAngel, which is a good Christian streaming service, which cuts out all the bad stuff. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's...
Daenerys is with, what's his name? Jason Momoa's character. They take him to bed. Oh my God.
Yeah, and the entire series is just 30 minutes. Okay? So I'll catch up. Like that.
Yeah.
So...
You get every word.
Give you a summary. They're going to fast forward everything for you.
Yeah. And then they're like... They're like, hey, brother and sister... want to read the Bible. We are going to go read the Bible.
They dub it over.
Yeah, I know. And that's it.
No, it's so hilarious. Okay, let's not be fun.
And that VidAngel is a real streaming service. That is a real
I'm
thing.
gonna go look it up. I'm gonna go look it up.
Yeah.
To each their own. If you want to go do that and you are happy with that, more power to you.
Stranger Things is on there.
I'm gonna watch it on HBO.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it on HBO because I'm Phil.
I'm gonna watch it on Extreme HBO, where they add more extreme stuff and more explicit stuff.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, what were you saying, Analiese? I kind of cut you off there.
Well, I can just ask one more question. Why is adapting books and stories like to the screen so hard to get right?
Oh, it's pretty easy because film is a visual medium and books are not.
Wrong.
Oh, I didn't know that was a right answer.
It is hard to get right. It is hard to please people who read the books.
Okay.
Okay, that's more. It's hard to get it right. Like it's hard to.
That's another way. Yeah, that's another reason why.
Yeah. And that's hard. I feel like that's hard because everybody. When you read a book, you can imagine anything you want. Like.
I feel like it's harder for people who are adapting a book because if you write your own movie, you create your own movie, whatever. You already know you're not going to please everybody with the movie. Yeah. But you have a freaking book, and you have a template set out for you, and the whole story's there.
There was actually there was like a couple of novels that were considered to be unfilmable that filmmakers just don't touch. One of them was actually Life of Pi, that Ang Lee made. Yeah, but then Ang Lee made it, and then it was a great film. So he made what a previously thought was an unfilmable film filmable, and then he got an Oscar for it. There was another.
Why did they think it was not filmable? Just because the book was like too crazy, too out there.
It's because the book is basically like, it's just like inner monologue after inner monologue. A lot of people believe The Great Gatsby is unfilmable. But that didn't stop some people from trying, but they didn't make a good movie.
You didn't like it?
No, I didn't even like the original one with Robert Redford. And then, and there was another one that was also adapted recently that was considered to be unfilmable, but recently was proven otherwise. Let me see, best film.
I guess it just takes the right person to be like, I'll do it.
Sometimes, like, especially ones that are mostly like monologue, you're like that are so in. It's like first person, and you're just in the character's head the whole time. It's really hard to like, okay, what is the world like outside of this person, and how can we showcase that? I think, to be basic, but I think that a movie that did this really well is The Hunger Games, because the whole time you only see a little piece of the world. Mm-hmm. And I think that in the movies they did a really good job.
Katniss's eyes, through Katniss's point of view.
And in the movie, seeing like the game maker, seeing especially like scenes with President Snow when they're not together, like just like you get a sense of the world. The one scene, I forget which movie it's in, but like where you actually see like the districts rebelling. You don't just hear about it. Like you get to see the scenes of them like, you know, they break open or they attack and break this dam, and that like I think they just talk about that in the books, but you got to actually like see it because Katniss was there, so you didn't. And I think that the last two movies were improved because we didn't like only stay inside Katniss's head, especially I feel like Mockingjay Part 1, you get to really see like not necessarily like the outside world because she is in District 13. Well, a little bit. Like it's just to have that degree of separation is sometimes good, I think, for a movie. I think sometimes that can improve upon source material.
It's definitely difficult, depending on what book you choose to adapt. I mean, plain and simple to begin with, not everything that is written down to be read can be portrayed to be seen. You know, like in the movies.
Okay, so like
it's
I know.
What'd you say, Nate?
Oh, I was saying like one of the most well-known, or one of the ones that a lot of people point to as being unfilmable was World War Z, the novel by Max Brooks, which was actually supposed to be like a diary about what happened in this major war against humans and zombies.
Oh, so it was like after everything had happened.
Yeah, kind of. And so when the film came out with Brad Pitt, uh, they were like, let's just not do that, like any of it, and they just made it a whole new thing, and they just kept the title.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you like World War Z?
I like the soundtrack. The soundtrack was really good.
You didn't like the movie?
It's been a while. I remember enjoying it, but it's been a while.
I think I simply enjoyed it, or I think I enjoyed it simply because they chose to go a different way with the zombies. You know, normally they have like the same kind of stereotypical slow, like, oh, let me get your brains you know.
These are like fast running.
But not just that, because they had fast running zombies on like the other Dawn of the Dead and also on the, what do you call it, Resident Evil movies. Mm-hmm. You know, they're different as well. But these zombies particularly had that thing where they would only go after healthy people. So that was like totally different. I'm like, what the heck? You know, the zombies can tell who's sick and who's not sick, you know? And, you know, I feel like that was different, and I really liked that, and I enjoyed it. And, of course, who's not going to watch Brad Pitt? I mean, like, all they had to do was cast him, and there they go.
Okay, I'm trying to look up what I was thinking of. It was one. But
did you have any more questions, Analiese, before we go to the other movies?
I don't think I asked this yet. Can you think of a book that you read that was adapted to a movie where the movie was actually better than the book? Because I racked my brain.
Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I think they're like the same.
I don't know, because I still haven't read all of Harry Potter. I still haven't read all of Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I can't answer that question.
I would definitely say Lord of the Rings, but they would just probably be like the same, because there are people who are like super stans over like both the films and the novels. They're like people who read like the novels over and over and over again.
Yeah. So they all liked the way that they adapted it then?
Oh yeah, like everybody loved it. It's one of the most successful fantasy films ever made.
That makes me feel like I don't have to read the books now.
Yeah. I tried to read the books, but it was like, this is too big brain for me. I can't.
What? For you? Wow.
This is too big brain for me. So yeah.
That's scary.
Okay. So yeah, there's like stuff like that.
That's how Serenity looks at reading Shakespearean.
Oh my god. I don't understand. Like, I just don't.
How can people just read that and like not have a translation?
You have to have a translation. You do. You have to think about it to translate.
I'm like, what are they saying?
Oh yeah.
It sounds like it's a different language.
It's literally a different language.
Yeah.
In 8th grade, we read Romeo and Juliet, and I remember we ordered the No Fear Shakespeare, and it like wasn't coming in the mail or something. So we would read it in class, and I'd be like, I have no idea what's happening. I would go home. I would go to my friends every Wednesday, and I would literally have to have her like summarize everything that happened in the chapters that we read. I'm like, it may as well be written in Pig Latin. Like
literally, that's me with the movie. That's literally me with the movie.
Like, I've done that one too, Romeo and Juliet, but the Leonardo DiCaprio one. So that's my favorite.
I like that old one that they show in class where I think the guy looks like Zac Efron.
No, I love the way that they did the whole. I forgot who directed the Leo DiCaprio one, but that was innovative. That was like far ahead of its time. You know, when they put that out, I was like, wow, blown away. Absolutely. So, but yeah.
Have y'all read a book that you want to be adapted, or have seen a movie that you want to be a book?
I don't think anybody really looks at that and be like, I wish I could read that. Well, I guess Star Wars.
Whoa, there's a lot
Needs to be made into a book, but I think they already did that.
There was Star Wars was adapted, novelized a couple times, like the films.
Nah,
it's interesting because if you really like the world and the characters, if there's a book, like you can
maybe like a mini series of like a character off of Star Wars, and yeah, like if I could read more about like Mandalore, what's his name, Boba Fett, you know, like where he's been all these freaking years that he's been gone, you know.
Yeah.
So that would be great to read.
I think I found it. The one that I was thinking of, it was Dune. Dune was considered to be an unfilmable film.
Dune, I completely forgot. That has Timothy Chalamet, Nate.
Yeah,
That has Timothy Chalamet, Nate. You broke your own
That
rule.
has Timothy Chalamet.
Well,
broke his
then
own rule.
I'm not watching it then.
What do you have against him?
I know, right? Timothy Chalamet's ears are probably ringing right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'd be like,
we
Timothy,
talked
we
about-
love you. Just so you know, don't get into it there. We fucking love you. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's complete novels based off of the Star Wars films, like the original trilogy and like the sequel
Those are
ones.
long. Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Oh, you know what? I would love to see one of Edgar Allan Poe's stories made into a movie. Yeah.
The only, I don't.
I would want
You mean like The Raven? Because that was a movie.
No, the Telltale Heart.
Telltale Heart.
How are you gonna
That
make
movie.
a 10-page short story into a feature-length film?
You just expound.
You can make it.
I took
It's fucking
a class. I took well, it was adapting short stories to short films, but like, it's a thing. You just expound upon like the little bit you're given.
Or fill it up with B-roll. I mean,
Yeah, I'll enjoy watching that.
it
It's a
could be
lot
a
of
short film. It don't have to be a feature-long film. It could be a short
Now,
film too. Any film.
now Edgar Allan Poe has only made one novel in his entire career, so maybe that you can do that.
Which one was it? Was it The Raven?
No, that's
a
like a
story.
poem.
It's a poem, sorry. What was this? I know which one it is. It's about the house, right? It's like a big...
No, that's The Fall of the House of Usher, which is a short story.
Okay, so which one did he write? Like the full novel?
He made it was called it's about a ship. It's called The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket.
Oh, I probably did read it then.
You did or
I
you
don't
didn't?
remember. It's been a while. I have like that big book that you know what? I'm gonna go read it today.
Okay. I guess you could also adapt the Dupin stories and make a new thing. Dupin, he was a detective of that was written by Edgar Allan Poe, which was considered to be like, it was the very first detective before Sherlock Holmes.
Before Sherlock?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess you can do that.
He probably wouldn't have been as cool as Sherlock though.
I don't know.
He probably would have been all like goth boy or RXD.
Okay, dude. Well, yeah, like if you read the novel or like the novels of Sherlock Holmes, he does reference Dupin a couple times.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. That's so
Mhm.
cool. That's awesome. I'm glad they recognize that.
Yeah,
That is amazing.
yeah. I mean, by the time Sherlock Holmes came out, I think Edgar Allan Poe was dead. You know that how nobody knows how he died. Isn't that weird?
I know his life was so sad. Is what
They didn't make a movie
really...
about Edgar Allan Poe recently. Like, it wasn't like an adaptation or anything. It was just like about his life.
Is it The Raven?
Is that what it's called? Is it like about him?
It was about The Raven was about him, but I don't think it was about his life. I think it was like a fictionalized thing.
Oh, maybe that was what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no, there actually hasn't been anything like you know,
Mhm.
like real and concrete and actual, like this is specifically
I
about.
would want to see a biography on him.
At least.
Well, no, I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are.
Do you
Like,
want
Did he marry?
He married
It's
his
like-
his 13-year-old cousin. Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah.
Wait, what time period was this again?
This was
What?
like the 1830s.
1800s, yeah, the 1800s. But like still.
That's weird. Still.
Go see Banca.
Have you seen Arrested Development, where Michael Cera constantly wants to get in his cousin's pants?
What?
Yeah.
Michael Cera?
No, that was in Arrested Development.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that.
Oh, you
but
haven't
are
seen
you,
Arrested
are they
Development?
doing that thing where it's like that kind of like growing into being like, you know, that puberty stage where you see your hot cousin and you think she's hot, you know?
Well,
Is
there
that
were-
kind of the way that they're doing it, or are they doing it where he's literally like trying to get with her?
Yeah, like he really wants to get with her because they were the same age. In the show, and he was like, "Oh, you're my cousin," and then he's like, "Maybe we should like share a room together," like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was-
Michael Cera. No, Michael Cera.
But it was cool in the 2000s. In the 2000s, it was funny.
What? I guess they wouldn't get away with that now.
No, they get canceled like so fast.
Okay. So,
Demonetized.
all right. What else do we got? Oh, novels that we wish were adapted. Mine was The Lost City of Merlin. The Lost Years of Merlin.
What's that one about? I've never heard of that one.
It's supposed to be like an origin story of Merlin.
That's awesome.
Which I did hear that like a long time ago, like back in like 2007, 2008, that Paramount bought the film rights to that novel, but I don't think they did anything with it. That's it. Yeah, it's about like a young Merlin. Like, how did he become Merlin? Ooh, he's like.
That's pretty good. That's pretty cool. I would love to learn about that.
Mm-hmm.
You write it. That's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Filmmakers.
It's been so long since I've read it.
What's stopping you
Read it
guys?
again.
Okay, I'll read it again. What do you think? What is yours, Ruby?
I already gave mine. I said that I wish that they would, you know, make a film out of any of Edgar Allan Poe
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I meant Serenity. What do you think?
It would probably be one of R.L. Stein's works, one of the Fear Street books.
I
I
think
know there's
they're-
gonna be like a trilogy on Netflix, but it's not one of the books that I wanted. Like, there's a specific book.
Which one is your specific book?
It's about, I forgot what it's called, but it's about this beach. Like, this girl goes to this beach, and then like weird shit starts happening while they're like on vacation. I don't know if I was able to. But yeah, I forgot what it's called though. But it definitely has something to do with a beach. You know what? If I look it up, I feel like I can.
Sounds like the new.
Oh, you know what? I think it's called Sunburn. Now that I'm thinking of it, I think it is called Sunburn.
It's called
I didn't
Beach
read all
House.
of the Fear Streets.
In my opinion, I thought Fear Street was better than Goosebumps, just because there's more like thriller in
Yeah.
Fear Street. Like, it's more of a thriller.
It's called Beach House.
Beach House. Is that the one you're talking about?
Let me see.
I'm excited to see the new Fear Streets though because Sadie Sink, Maya Hawk.
Are they gonna like? I don't know. Are they gonna play
No,
into
it
the?
is called Sunburn. It is
Okay.
called Sunburn. I found it. Yeah.
So there's more than one Fear Street novel that
About
takes
a
place
beach.
on a beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are they gonna
Yeah.
in Fear Street? Are they gonna like play into like the campiness of it? Like, oh, we know we were based off of a children's horror book for kids. Or are they gonna really try to make it super scary?
I think they're really trying to make it super scary. That's what I'm getting from the trailers, at least.
I hope it's like some kind of scary.
Yeah.
Or is it gonna be like Scream Queens, where they're like,
Oh,
This
like
is so
comedy
cool.
scary.
yeah.
Did y'all ever see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? The one that was
Yeah,
like. based
yes,
off
we
of-
did.
I
Yeah,
never
we
saw it. Is it good? Like, did they
That's
make
another
it?
one that we could have chose for this.
Oh,
They did a good job.
It's
I-
good. It's just not scary. It's not that scary.
I actually completely forgot about that movie existed. Scariest.
Me too, until you brought it up right now. But I remember I was so excited when I heard them announce it because that book, you know,
They had some
It's
really
nostalgia,
creepy.
you know?
They had some really creepy
The
illustrations.
imagery, the illustration.
yeah, that
So
always stuck in my head because I remember those images would be so creepy to me. You know, oh my God, and now I look at it and I'm like, that's my personality.
Do we want to see what was that one? That Nickelodeon show where They were like kids
Which
around a campfire, and then they're like, "Let me tell you a scary story."
Oh, scary stories to tell you in the dark.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it would start off.
Yeah. I think they're bringing it back. I think Nickelodeon's bringing it back.
I really wanted them to bring back Tales from the Crypt. I thought they were gonna bring that back. Did you used to watch that?
I did not. That's a bit before my time.
Oh man, I just told my age, didn't I?
Okay, here it is. Finally.
I'm okay.
Oh, it's on Showtime. The scary stories to tell in the dark.
Yeah, you should watch it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. Yeah, it has a good story. I mean, the stories are the same, but they're good.
Okay.
I think the way they portrayed it and they made it all work, where they intertwined everyone's stories together so that they could show each one of the stories from the book in that way. So I'm glad they did that.
I kind of want them to adapt. I really want them to adapt Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but not as a dumb live action show, because the film, because that really did it.
It needs to be animated the same way.
Yeah, it needs to be animated. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be so. That's a really good idea, actually.
It needs to be animated, and it needs to be in the same art style as.
Yeah, as like the books.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I've actually six drawings. Speaking of, I've only have y'all read all of the books? I've only read like a few.
Of Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
Yeah.
I've been trying to keep up, but I've been kind of trailing. I think I read up to book 8.
I've only read like 3 of them, but I don't think I read them in the like right order either. I just kind of read them out of order.
Okay.
I read it when I was a kid. I don't remember how far I got. That was what I would get at the Scholastic Book Fair.
All right.
I don't know if I said I keep seeing it in my bookshelf behind her, but I want them to adapt Scythe by Neil Shusterman into a TV show, not a movie.
What is it?
So it's this trilogy.
You want to pull it out so we can see?
Oh, say less. So it's called Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This first book, I think this is like a near perfect trilogy, in my opinion. I'll just read you, because I don't want to it's so hard to explain, but just the little thing, the blurb written on the back here: the Scythe's commandments: thou shalt kill with no bias, bigotry, or malice afterthought. Thou shalt grant an annum of immunity to the beloved of those who accept your coming, and thou shalt kill the beloved of those who resist.
I know what it is already. So it's a book about death.
I don't want to like over explain it, but it's like humanity has like conquered death and all of the other things like sickness, and so to control overpopulation, they need population control.
Wow! I wish that would happen.
Okay.
It's so good. It's so interesting. If I were like an English teacher, I would have that in my curriculum. Like it deals a lot with like morals, like personal morals, and like whether or not humanity like deserves things. Like it's so good.
Well, they could do so many things with that. I can already they could do so many things with that.
Yeah. So
if I were to take that story, I would change it, and I'd be like, everybody learned how to become immortal because everyone turned themselves into vampires, and now we like created this synthetic blood to like live off of.
And then it's the new Twilight movie. It's the Twilight movie redone. So now we've come full circle.
How about Twilight, but in the perspective of Jacob?
No one wants that. I hate him.
No one likes gaslighting ass Jacob.
No, not Jacob.
Okay,
Edward.
fair, they're both abusive. But Jacob literally assaults her in Eclipse, and no one talks about it.
Right.
No one talks about it. He assaults her.
Literally. Yeah.
Like,
when he kissed her?
He kisses, like, okay, if you reading the scene is so uncomfortable. I've read the Twilight series like 7 times, and that scene as a child would make me so uncomfortable because he literally like grabs the back of her head and he's kissing her, and he doesn't let her move.
Yeah, in the book they go into detail a little bit more, and they do like, yeah, it sounds really ugly the way that he did grab her.
In the movie, he's talking about, I know you have feelings for me. I know. I'm telling you I don't. So where is the disconnect?
He's that ugly ass boy at school and be like, "Where's my hug? Where's my hug?"
Literally.
The
Everyone was Team Jacob because, okay, yeah, he's obviously the hotter one. Yeah, he's the one with the six pack.
No, he's not. He's not the
like,
hotter one.
I mean,
I remember being like,
I love me some Edward.
I like Robert Pattinson is a good-looking guy. I mean, he has a more successful career. He has a more successful career. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, what has Taylor Lautner done besides Shark Boy and Lava Girl and Twilight?
He didn't even come back for the remake, the sequel.
What is he doing? What is
he did do one other movie after Twilight, which was like this action.
That was Abduction. It was really bad.
It was bad.
Wait, which one? I forgot what it was called.
The whole thing is like they just do parkour off of buildings. It's like a parkour.
Something like that.
Abduction. It was called Abduction.
But Robert Pattinson is a great actor, and I'm so glad that he got this fame in Twilight, because this put him on so that he could do many more projects and he could show his range. Because oh my God, that man can act.
Yeah, he hated Twilight. He said it was super stupid.
Yeah, he did hate Twilight.
By the end of it, everyone knew what it was. By the end of it, it's like, you know why you're watching it. You know what it is.
Listen. That movie was made. That whole book series was made for me and all the other girls who wanted a vampire boyfriend. Okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing. Stephanie Meyer knew what she was doing. So.
And something about Stephanie, because I also read The Host by Stephanie Meyer, which
I love The Host. Oh my God, I love that book.
Another book to movie adaptation they absolutely.
I should have brought that one up because I actually have read half of The Host, but I haven't finished it.
I haven't finished. You have.
It's so big. It's so big. I can't.
It's so good. It's so good. The movie is so bad.
You think so? I really like the movie.
I guess I went into it having read the book, and like the book is like, first of all, it's huge. It's a huge, and with that world, they could have made a TV series. But like, I don't know, she was underground for like 3 days, and then Jake Abel.
I haven't watched the movie.
I love you. I'm in love with you.
Saoirse Ronan is in it. I really like how. I have to watch the movie.
Saoirse Ronan. I don't know. I think that would have been. I don't know why they chose to adapt that, because that's one of those that like. There's a whole character that lives inside the main character's head.
Yeah.
So when we're reading the book, like they talk to each other, but they're all talking like in her mind, and like the text is italicized. It's like, how are you going to visualize that? How are you going to show that to the audience? And they just had like her talking in her head, because what else are you going to do? And Saoirse Ronan like did a southern accent. It wasn't that good. I love Saoirse Ronan.
No, I know what you mean, but I feel like it also kind of messed her up because of her Irish accent. The Irish accent that she has messed her up.
She did her best.
Speaking of which,
I love her.
Speaking of which,
she's so cute.
Yeah. Speaking of which, J.K. Rowling, whenever she releases new books, she doesn't go by her name anymore. She has a pseudonym now.
As she should. Stay safe.
Yeah, she goes by Robert Galbraith now.
Wow. Ew.
Turfy McTurferson, that's what she should
So
go
she's
with.
transgender now, but I know, right? She made herself transgender, but she's anti-trans. She's transphobic. Wow, so stupid.
Yeah, and well, I don't like that J.K. Rowling keeps on pretending to be woke.
Yeah.
It was like, I remember there was that one where she was like, Dumbledore is gay now?
That's something that authors think is representation, where like after the work is already published and made, they'll come out and say like, oh no, this person is this person's supposed to be a person of color, this person's supposed to be LGBT, but it's like
that's kind of like queer baiting, and it's not a big.
It's trying to capitalize on an audience. Mm-hmm. Like
J.K. Rowling's main mistake is what Annalise just said. If you're not letting the actual like trans people or trans community speak out to what you're saying, you're literally just censoring what they're saying to you, that they are women, and you're not letting them speak. You're silencing them. Yeah. And it's people don't realize that by doing that, you're causing harm to that community, because you're letting that hate still be there. You're letting it be justified. And that's what gets people killed. Yeah. And that's the thing, that's the main
Yeah, especially trans youth. If you look at the legislation that is being made in some states right now, like to people like J.K. Rowling think that it's like anti-woman to have that trans women are somehow like I don't know, affecting her as a woman or something. And it's
that woman is crazy.
Yeah, well,
and it wouldn't have infected her in no way if she would have just kept her ugly thoughts to herself.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. She wrote an essay on why she's a TERF and like why it's like valid. Like why would you write a whole, and no one asked you to do that.
No one. I actually want to read that. I want to see what she put in it.
I'm not familiar with the terminology. What's a TERF?
A TERF is basically like someone who is a feminist, but like excluded trans women specifically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, another one that she said that somebody tweeted at her is like, how come there isn't any Jewish characters in Harry Potter? And then she was like, there's one named Hamish Goldbergstein that I totally made up right now.
That doesn't help her. Like, why is she like thinking herself into a hole?
And
it's then, like, that's not representation. Representation is putting it in the spotlight and showing this and normalizing it and showcasing it like it's like normal and fine.
Yeah.
And allowing the person, like, to have someone on the crew who is from that community,
exactly,
at least to get some kind of compensation for their help. Like, it's not hard.
Also, I believe the Supreme Court did upheld the lower court's ruling that gender identity has been included in Title IX.
That's so ironic because they're literally I think in Florida, they like made it legal for like teachers to essentially like assault trans children.
Oh yeah, with the genital checks.
Mm-hmm.
Florida. Why is it always Florida or Texas? Either one, either of them. It's either Texas or Florida. Like
Alabama's bad too.
All right, let's move on. Yeah. All right. Did you have any other questions, Annalise, or were those yours?
That was my questions. I think I did.
Okay, we'll go into, but since we don't have too much time, I'll just we'll give quick little things about our picks. So yeah, I spoke earlier about The Color Purple, even though we've spoken about so many others that we could have chosen. Those are honorable mentions, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad we did mention those. But I chose The Color Purple because I remember the impact that it had on my life. And I remember watching it at a young age. And I was one of those kids that, I would read for work, for my assignments and stuff like that, my essays to get them done. But very rarely something would stick with me and have me, oh my God, this is so emotional. I'd be fucking crying and everything while I was reading. So The Color Purple, it was a novel by Alice Walker. It was adapted by Steven Spielberg. It's also been made into a musical, so it's not just a movie, but it's also been made into a musical. It was the winner of the Pulitzer Prize in 1983. It has a very star-studded cast. It has Oprah Winfrey, Whoopi Goldberg, Danny Glover, which, if you love Danny Glover, watching this film will make you cringe, because it's he plays the villain, unfortunately, in this story. Lawrence Fishburne, Gayle King, and Dana Ivey. So those are pretty much really big, celebrity stars. I don't know how big they were at that point when the movie actually came out, but they're big now. One of the things that I found interesting about this novel is that it's on the American Liberty Association list of the 100 most frequently challenged books. It sits at number 17 because of the explicit content, particularly in terms of violence. So it is a very, very graphic, sometimes disturbing. So I will give you trigger warnings. There's rape, there's domestic violence, police brutality. So it's very, very, very truthful. That's what I would say. It's very honest in all of its details because this takes place in the early 1900s in the South of the United States. So this is, when you think about it, after the slaves were freed. You imagine like how hard life was for African Americans during this time because they were freed, but they weren't given still any kind of respect. They weren't given any kind of access to resources, land, jobs. They were still struggling very, very hard. So this kind of tells the story of African Americans and how, in particularly, this one Black little girl, Celie, grows up, and how her and a lot of other Black little girls grow up. And it's so hard. You think about it and like you put your whole heart into it, just like feeling so bad for this girl, right? Because she goes through so much. In the end, though, there is a very like happy ending. So I will say it is worth the read. At the end, there is a happy ending. And I just hope that it like will at least educate some people who kind of didn't know. Like, some people think that because the slaves were freed, that they were free and nothing else, and they were just able to go and thrive. So this story like shows a lot about how when Black people were thriving, there would still be white men who would envy that and would either kill that person because they were successful or just make their life a living hell just because. So I really hope that people will watch this movie if you haven't watched it, and you'll read the book as well because it's very historical, I would say, and it's a really good story. It's definitely full of like gasps, like you like because there's so much drama and then there's so many twists and things like that as well. So there's also a cute little like, how do I call it? There's a relationship between Celie that she develops with this jazz singer who's also a female, and her name is Shug, and they care for one another, and Celie like falls in love with her because she's gotten nothing but like abuse from men her whole life, and she falls in love with Shug, and she promises to love her even if she doesn't love her back. Mm-hmm. So I love that. It's like, I've never watched that. And Shug will like leave, and she'll like marry men, and then at the end, like, I don't want to spoil it, but she'll marry men, and then like she'll always come back to Celie. So like it's just so cute, and I love how there's other women involved that their stories intertwine together because of some form of like being pitted against each other. But they learn, like, hey, we as women need to stick together, and support each other to make it, So it's a great story. Yep. And that's all I have to say about that.
All right. Well, I will do the next one.
And I picked Forrest Gump too, but I didn't. Because I love Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that's a good movie. So, okay, so we're going to take a trip back in time. You guys ready to go back in time? You?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to go back in time to 1960.
All right.
1960, Phoenix.
All right.
So, and we're going to talk about the 1960 Alfred Hitchcock film Psycho, which was based on a novel by Robert Bloch of the same name. And that in itself was based off of a real-life serial killer known as the Ghoul of Plainview.
You gotta cue the Psycho song, the theme song.
Okay. So
That was really good.
And Nate is like,
we're here. We meet Janet Leigh as Marion Kane. Now, Janet Leigh back in the day was like a major Hollywood starlet. She was in like numerous films. She was in Act of Violence. She was in Little Women. She was in Angels in the Outfield, Scaramouche, and The Naked Spur. So she was in quite a bit of stuff, and she was like the big name of this. So she gets her boss gives her a $40,000 so she can go deposit it because it was like for a client that he bought property from. Now $40,000 is equivalent to like $350,000. So she's like, "Here, go deposit this," and then she was like, "Oh, I'll deposit it." I'll deposit it, all right. I'll deposit it in the bank of me. So she,
my purse.
yeah. So she basically takes the money and runs, and then she leaves Phoenix, tries to go to California, where I believe her boyfriend is, who is played by John Gavin. His name is Sam. His name is Loomis. So she goes there, but then, oh no, shock horror, it's raining, and then she has to stop in a motel, a
creepy motel.
Bates motel, and then she meets this guy known as Bates, who is played by Anthony Perkins, and he basically comes out and he's all like, "Hello." "What can I do for you, pretty lady?" Oh. And then she was like, "I would like a room, please." Oh.
I would have been like, "I'm sleeping in my car. Bye."
Oh, I don't know. I'll give you a room, all right. So it basically gives her a room next to his office, and it is later revealed that he gave her the room next to his office so he can peep on her.
So he could, yeah.
So he can peep on her and be a creep. And then he basically knocks on her door and he's like, "Hey, do you want to, like, eat food with me?" And she was like, "Sure, why not?" So she goes in, and then they have food, and they eat in his office, and then he's all like, "Oh, your skin's so good."
Ew, is she entertaining this man?
I don't know. He's like, "Oh, yeah. You want to be friends?"
Ew.
And she was like, "Sure, let's be friends." And he was like, "Oh, so good." And so, yeah. So then he goes back to his his house, which is next to the hotel, and then you hear him arguing with somebody, which we think is like another woman, and ends up just being himself. And apparently it was like he had a dual personality disorder where he takes on the persona of his mom, and he basically like would shift.
I was gonna say, I thought it was his mom.
Yeah, he would shift personalities, and his mother personality would get super jealous of any other women in his life, and then she would just basically go out and just kill whoever's there, because he murdered, like, he kept on murdering people.
So to him, it wasn't him; it was his mom.
Yeah.
That was murdered. It kind of sounds like Split. That one movie. Kind of, but Split has more than one personality.
Yeah,
It has
true.
like
True.
7 or 8, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, she, then all of a sudden, what was her name? Marion. Marion is taking a shower. Ooh, so tantalizing. We get to see 1960s bra that covers everything and not show anything at all. So, and then all of a sudden, bam! There's Bates with a knife, and he basically stabs her with chocolate syrup just coming right out of her, and then she dies, and that's like halfway through the movie. And at that point, like, because she was like a major pulling, Janet Leigh, and it was like unprecedented to kill off the star of the film halfway through through the film. And the rest of the movie is basically her sister, played by Vera Miles, is gonna come in and try to investigate everything, the death of her sister, and like there's like police investigating and all that kind of stuff, and then they eventually find him and they catch him, and then they basically that's basically it. That's Psycho.
Okay, so they do catch him. He does get caught,
Yeah.
but he had already killed before her.
Yeah, he killed numerous people, and like
I have to say, I don't think I've ever actually sat through Psycho.
Yeah, me neither.
I only know, basic knowledge of, just being alive, I guess, throughout time.
yeah,
And seeing small clips of what Psycho is. And I know Hitchcock and, his, whole scene in Hollywood and everything, how he came out.
So my question for you guys is, if you stop by a motel and the hotel clerk is like, "Hello, would you like a room?"
I don't know if I would say yeah. I'd be like, yeah, and you know what? Just so you know, I got a gun. I'm telling you right now.
Ooh,
And I take a shower with it.
you take a shower with the gun. You know the gunpowder is gonna get all like soaked.
I didn't say I was gonna wet it. I'm not gonna take a bath with my gun.
Okay. What do you say, Serenity?
Huh?
What do you say, Serenity?
About what?
About you go into a motel and the clerk's like, "Hello."
Oh, I mean, I would say no. Obviously, I wouldn't even talk at all. I don't like talking to people. She wouldn't be able to get the damn room.
Yeah, you're there by yourself, by the way. No one's with you. You're just gonna come in and just stare and do nothing.
No, I'm not gonna go in.
Okay.
Yeah,
What about you? What about you, Annalise?
Nah, I'm sleeping in my car.
Okay.
I'll get an Airbnb.
Okay. So, what do you guys think about this lady basically sticking around, and like?
I mean, she stayed there because it was in the script. No, I don't know.
And then he invited
I
he invited her for
I
like
mean-
food, and she went.
I don't know. There are a lot of dumb people in this world. I'm gonna say that because some situations happen now where I'm like, how?
That's how you know it was written by a guy, because any woman is not alone with a man in the middle of nowhere. If he's being, that's like the vibes are like off immediately for
Right.
any
And
woman.
women's intuition is for real. Like intuition, period. Is for
Alarm bells.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
Super.
So this film was actually it made 3 sequels. There's a Psycho 2, 3, and 4. But those were very bad. There was also.
What do you think about the one with Christian Bale?
No, that's nothing to do with anything. That's American Psycho, and
That's different?
yeah, it's a completely different thing.
Oh, I thought it was the same thing.
No, it wasn't.
Because isn't he a serial killer?
And that one,
Isn't
yeah,
that
but he was
well?
he was supposed to be like a businessman who killed people because he was kind of insane.
What about that Bates Motel show?
That was
that based
yeah,
off of that?
yeah, because that one is about how Bates became a serial killer.
Oh, it's pre. It's
I didn't know
origin
those were
story.
connected. I didn't know the movie
Yeah.
and that show were connected.
Yeah, that's what's called Bates Motel.
I started watching a few episodes like 2 years ago and I never finished it. I couldn't get into it. I thought it was kind of boring.
Yeah, well, it's on A&E. What do you expect?
It's not on Extreme HBO.
Yeah, because the thing about American Psycho, it's supposed to be about this class disconnect, because at the end, Norman Bates was like, not Norman Bates, Patrick Bateman, which is the character's name, Christian Bale's character was like, I want to be caught, I want to be brought to justice, but then he realizes that's not going to happen because he's rich, and nobody's going to ever suspect him of anything, so he'll never get that punishment that he wants.
I've never seen that movie.
You never seen American Psycho?
It sounds like reverse white privilege.
Kind of, yeah.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
Yeah, kind of, because he's one of those guys who like murders like women of the
Or
night.
1% privilege, I guess, because he's rich, right?
Yeah,
He said.
he's a rich business guy.
Yeah.
So
He had that seed money.
Okay, so now that everybody's done their thing,
No, Serenity hasn't done her.
No.
I said
just go.
everybody's done their thing. I said.
Yeah,
And-
everybody has done their thing.
You gotta say where you love.
No,
it's no your name. Just whatever. You're not even gonna say that much, anyways.
Let's hear it.
There,
Let's hear
you
it.
hear that, Timothy? I'm gonna tell Timothy Chalamet that you did not talk about how epic his performance was in that movie.
Starring Armie Hammer, the guy who likes to eat people, or like entertains the idea.
Did you see they canceled the sequel of Call Me by Your Name because of that?
Good.
No, we're missing.
Yeah, we're never gonna get to see that.
For the sequel, like Armie Hammer, you messed it up for everybody.
Okay.
Damn you.
Why does that movie need a sequel? They don't get together. That's the end.
No, there's another story. There's more to the story.
Okay.
This is a book, so there's more to the story. There's
Okay.
more that happens.
Well, we'll never know now, will we?
If you read the book, you will.
Okay. Well, we'll never see it on the screen.
We'll never see Timothy Chalamet in that role again. So
No more Elio.
go and watch Elio and Call Me by Your Name.
And cry.
And cry.
I'm doing the dance.
But yeah, that was my movie.
I want to say that as far as Call Me by Your Name goes, like I feel like those two, Armie Hammer and Timothy Chalamet, like they had great chemistry on set. Like it was good. They were very well matched
Mhm.
in those roles. Like casting did a good job.
Yeah. So, what is it about? Serenity and only Serenity?
It's a coming of age movie. It's about the 17-year-old boy, trying to figure out his sexuality and whatnot. And then, during the summer, they have a,
During the in Italy.
during the 80s, it was the 80s.
80s in Italy, so beautiful.
Yeah. They have, his parents are like, what? They're like, what are they? They're like researchers, or I think
Scholars.
I think his dad's like a researcher of some kind or whatever, and they like each year they have like a foreign exchange student go out and stay with them, and they I think the foreign exchange student they like help them, right? They like help them or whatever they're
I mean, it's like an intern program.
yeah, it's a type thing.
Yeah.
And
His dad will host it there in Italy at their place, at their villa,
their house,
or whatever.
And that foreign exchange student that ends up going is Armie Hammer, Oliver, which is played by Armie Hammer, and Timothy's character Elio ends up developing feelings for him, and then Oliver starts developing feelings for him, and they just kind of end up getting together, but then tragic ending comes. I'm not gonna spoil it because I don't know if Analiese has seen it. I don't know if Kate has seen it either, so I won't spoil it.
I've seen it. I've seen
But
it.
it basically portrays people not being able to be themselves.
Yeah.
Still in the 80s, especially in the 80s, it was still kind of really ugly back then.
Yeah, you should
When
probably
they-
not romanticize it, Ruby.
Romanticize what?
The 1980s.
Why not?
I love that.
You just told me why you should. You don't-
No, I meant like the aesthetic of. In particular, obviously back then it was like still like there were so many still anti-LGBTQ people like. But what does it have to do with the music? I mean, we had so many LGBTQ legends in music in the 80s, and they made the best fucking music.
What, like
Freddie
Queen?
Mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was bisexual.
We love
Yeah.
the 80s.
The 80s were a hard time for the LGBT community.
The AIDS crisis was in the 1980s, Ruby.
Yeah.
For sure.
That you know that's how Freddie Mercury died, was because of the AIDS.
Yeah.
Ruby.
Yes.
It was because of the AIDS.
Yeah.
AIDS. That's what he said.
Okay. But yeah, so yeah,
It's so funny because I remember Dave Chappelle mentions it in one of his skits where he's like, or I don't know where it was, if it was a skit or not, but he said something about, ain't it funny that when AIDS came out, it only affected gays, blacks, and Latinos or something like that? Like if it was made specifically.
I like how Dave Chappelle can just like say, I want to break my contract, and that's okay.
I mean, hey, he's his own person. If I'm doing something and I'm like, I need a mental health break because I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, then yes, I would ask for something like that too. And
well, you signed a contract for trillion years of service, Ruby.
No, and I think to begin with, I think there was something that he mentions that went on with that contract to begin with.
Yeah.
But I don't know the whole story.
Yeah, me neither. Also, I think that's also what Scientology makes you do. They make you sign a contract for 1 trillion years of service.
What? Again, red alarms, like,
oh, yeah. They also make you sign, like, various, like, waivers and stuff when you join the group.
Like, if you die, we are not held liable.
Yeah, because, like, somebody did die on their care.
What happened?
Oh, you gotta tune in to my true crime podcast to know that.
All right, okay. You can catch Nate's true crime. He's gonna plug himself in right there.
Yeah. So let's go on to let's do some recommendations really quick. So it could be anything. It could be anything. It could be like an album, a show, a movie, a book, or anything.
Oh. Portrait of a Lady on Fire, since we're on the topic of LGBT. Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Where did you see it?
Huh?
Where did you see it?
When?
No, where? Like the what's?
Soap Today.
No, that's illegal.
Soap Today, and I'll do it again. And I'll do it again.
Okay, you're lucky I'm no snitch. So. But yeah, I tried to watch. No, it's because I tried to watch it on Hulu, but they didn't have it. It was only in French. It was only in French.
Subtitles.
There was no subtitles.
There's subtitles.
On Hulu?
Well, really? You gotta learn French, Nate. Yeah. Why don't you know French?
Because I tried to do it on Hulu, and then they were like, "There are no subtitles available," and then I was like, "Oh man."
That was a lie. I watched it. Hulu must be lying. I watched it multiple times. That is one of my favorites.
They have it with subtitles on Soap Today.
See, subtitles not available.
Well, turn them on.
They're not on.
Do the little.
Like there it isn't. Look. Oh.
My guy.
Look.
Look, turn it on. Oh, I won't let you turn it on.
Yeah,
hard enough.
Because there's not available. So yeah.
I want to say
maybe that's on mobile, maybe because that's literally how I watched the movie like 3 times.
Okay.
She's not like 3 times. That movie is great. I'll have to watch it again. The one movie that I was gonna ask y'all if y'all watched is another movie with 2 queens in it. It's blue is the softest color or something like that. Blue is the warmest color. Warmest color. What is that?
Bad.
Bad?
It was actually
bad?
it was a highly acclaimed French film. It was a love story between 2 women. Where this one girl was trying to find her sexuality, and this other girl was like, "I'll show you your sexuality." And I have blue hair.
It's directed by a man, and so that's just so apparent.
And also, this was one of the very, very few NC-17 rated films where they were like, "We're not editing anything out. It'll just be NC-17. We're not going to rate it down to an R rating."
I have a problem with that, especially when showcasing a lesbian relationship, because it's like lesbians are very sexualized, and you would be hard pressed to find a movie about lesbians that doesn't have a sex scene in it.
Oh yeah, this one was like, let's just make straight
Let's
up
make
porn.
No, literally, that the guy, because I watched it. Okay, well then,
it's not. I think when I watched it, I was in high school, and so at the end of it, I was like, I understand what they were trying to do, and the message resonated with me, but I was like, the way that they communicated the message and people who made this movie, I'm like, I don't think this was made for me.
Yeah, I mean, you can like
it was an idea executed poorly.
The sex scenes were. It looks like something you would see off of like a porn site.
Because it wasn't made by lesbians for lesbians. It was made like. It was made for the like, I don't know. I just have a problem with especially in a lot of LGBT films where there's like a huge age gap, where it's essentially just porn. Like you'd be really hard pressed to find a movie about an LGBT, like just about like, I don't know, that just isn't sexualized, that is done right by LGBT people.
Okay.
Do tell him, Annalise.
Yeah. I'll tell him.
So
I was gonna recommend a movie. It's a cute animated movie, and I remembered it because I know how we were speaking, how it looks like they're so out of touch with teenagers and the youth of today. But I feel like this one animated movie is kind of a little bit spot on. It's the Mitchells versus, what is it called?
the Mitchells versus the
Machines or something like that.
Yeah, the Mitchells versus Machines.
Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
That's on my watch list.
It was so good, and it's like a family movie, but it was so good, so funny, so relatable. It's about filmmaking.
Yeah.
So it's like
the main character is LGBT, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
An actual like.
He has a crush on a girl at her college.
Yeah, an actual open LGBT character in a children's movie.
Yes. So definitely go watch that.
Yeah, and we don't have to hear like, think about the children. Like, shut up.
Yeah, and we don't have, the parents trying to convert them or some dumb shit.
Yeah, remember when Arthur
the gay rats?
Yeah. Where there was like his Arthur's teacher was a rat, and he married another
Mr.
guy.
Ratburn.
Yeah, and he married another male rat, and then people flipped out.
Oh my
God. The rats.
I didn't know that. That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
It stems from sexualizing LGBT people, I think, because like parents will say like, I don't want my kids seeing that. It's because they equate it to like sex, I guess.
Yeah. They equate it to like something dirty.
Especially like lesbian is like a bad word. It's like a porn category, and it's like that's why it's so hard, especially with so many movies.
All right, I just looked it up. Rats are gay. They are gay. Yeah. Yeah,
that's
like,
what you were doing, Mom.
Yeah, because like
it's like I'm gonna confirm.
Yeah, because
he's like rats are gay, right?
Yeah. because it's not like people would say like, oh, it's not natural. Ew. Because and
it's like bam, it is.
Yeah, like numerous other animals do also express homosexuality, like dolphins.
Oh my god, my dog. Our dogs are 2 females. And I think one of my dogs is really into her that way.
Yeah, so dolphins do it. Bats are actually gayer than humans. So yeah.
Okay, see, vampires again, gay besties.
Yeah, and penguins, which is also really nice because it was actually kind of funny because a homosexual couple penguins would take over abandoned eggs and they would just raise the eggs together. Yeah.
Stop! I'm gonna cry. Oh my god.
So it's like that. Now, as for my recommendation, I would recommend a film that just came out recently by one John M. Chu, the guy who made Crazy Rich Asians, and it is In the Heights. Woo!
Oh wait, with Lin-Manuel
Miranda is the Power Guap man. Yeah,
I want to see it, but then I can't. I just
Paragua, man.
musicals.
It is such a great film and a great like representation of the Latino community.
That's really why I want to watch
yeah.
it. Is because
Yeah, and it's supposed to be about a guy named Usnavi, who is not played by Miranda, who it's played by a different guy, Anthony Ramos, and he owns a bodega, a Dominican themed bodega, and he gets word that he managed to purchase like an old shack in the Dominican Republic, and he's like, I'm gonna go move to the Dominican Republic and I'm gonna rebuild the shack and I'm gonna start my own business like that, and leave America. And basically, it's like how he interacts with the other people in the community. There's other stuff going on, like
I like the story where it's someone trying to leave America and not come over.
yeah. So like all these other people are doing this. There was another character where, one second, and he also has this crush on this girl, and he's all like, I would like to get like hang out or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's this other plot line with this other character. I believe it's Carl. I'm not 100% sure. Hold on one second. One second.
This is on my watch list. I just haven't gotten to it yet. And I did hear the whole controversy where they were like, you didn't show any Afro Latinos in this. And Manuel had to come out and like apologize and stuff like that. But the thing is like they had already told him this before it came out, like in a screening.
Yeah.
And or like before they even like let it get out or something like that. They had known about it. They had already received the feedback about that.
Do you think
and the director was like, I don't care, just do it the way we said we were gonna do it.
Well, it wasn't Miranda's call.
Manuel said, they were saying that Manuel actually didn't. I mean, Manuel like wanted that to be a thing in there, but like that there was something that the director specifically was like, no, we're just gonna do it this way.
All right. Well, that wasn't his call. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
The director was also Asian American, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so there's this other plot line where a girl named Nina, who's played by Leslie Grace, gets back home from, I believe, Stanford, and she basically lies to her father, saying that I missed the deadline. I don't want to go back, and then, but it ends up being like she just doesn't want to go back because of the white privilege that's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she was invited to like this party by like the higher ups of the university, and one of the guests shoved a plate in her hand at the party.
How is that showing white privilege?
Because she thought she was the help.
Oh, she like was trying to make it seem like go clean it up or whatever.
No, he was like, here, I ordered the vegetarian option. Like that.
Like, bitch, I don't work here.
And then I'll give you, how about a knuckle sandwich? No meat. Bye. But yeah, so it's like about that, and like about like this really cool American Latino type heritage community that's going on in Washington Heights, or they call it Washington Heights in the movie. Washington
right.
Heights. So
I'll watch it because you're telling me to watch it, Nate.
Yeah. Oh, it's a really good film. So yeah, that's it. Oh, and also there's another whole thing about a salon that's leaving. Yeah, because like also people are leaving the Washington Heights area because it's becoming like gentrified. They're leaving.
Expensive. I was gonna say that. Gentrified taxes. Yeah.
Yeah, people are leaving. New white people are coming in, and yeah, they kind of like tried to explain it by having this one scene where this like old lady who was supposed to be like the grandmother of the neighborhood tries to get like this old blanket washed in the dry cleaners, and he's all like, "Oh, that'll be $1 million." It didn't say $1 million, but it's like $150. And she's like, "No, thank you."
That's a lot.
Huh?
All right. Well,
It's on it's on HBO Max if you want to watch it.
Okay, so watch on HBO Max.
Yeah.
So I also just wanted to give a quick announcement before we end the show. If you want to hang out with me, Serenity, and Nate, which is like not ever like a big, like it's not, how do I say, it's rare that we're together out like this. So if you want to actually hang out with us, you get the chance to do so on July 10th here in Dallas. We're going to be at the Carne Asada Festival.
Yeah, but we're going to be working.
Huh?
We're going to be working. We're not going to be
No,
like...
we're not. We're going to be working and partying.
Well, fine. I'm going to be working because I take my job seriously, unlike some people.
Well, Nate's going to be there because he's shooting the documentary for the festival.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still all going to be there. And we're going to be having fun. Because that's the whole point.
But working.
Yeah, so there's going to be food, there's going to be live music, there's going to be also some vendors, small businesses and stuff like that you can go out there support. So if you're in the Dallas, Texas area, definitely come check that out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun. I'm excited because it's like my first actual time being out since the whole pandemic started.
So what time does it start? Because I actually kind of want to know as well.
So it starts officially at 4. At 4. Yeah.
4 in the
Doors
morning.
open at 4, and then it ends at midnight. So it's like an all-day thing.
But we're going to be there all friggin' day. Yeah, we'll be there since 2.
Okay.
So.
I'm probably going to be there at 2 as well.
Okay.
I got to be setting up and prep.
So that's the little announcement that we had. We still have, other things coming up, but we'll let you know if you keep up with us on Instagram at Wacky Talkies. Is it Wacky _
No, that's the Twitter. It's Wacky Talkies Facebook.
Instagram.
Oh,
there's not.
yeah.
Hold on.
Also, the carne asada is going to be
at Wacky _ Talkies. Sorry.
The carne asada is going to be at the Sons of Herman in Deep Ellum.
You can keep up with Analiese and her cool film project that she has going on her IG, which is at Analiese Films.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you turn in an incomplete film? Did you turn in a non-finished film to the instructor?
It's done. We have a cut of it that we showed at the end of semester screening, and that I turned in for my class and everything. But I want to keep working on sound because sound design isn't exactly where I want it to be. So
Okay.
I can't wait to see that movie you were telling us about earlier. So definitely let us know. We'd love to see it.
We'll do.
And thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you. Hopefully you had fun and you like hanging out with us.
Of course.
And
thank you for having me.
Good to see you again, bud. I will see you soon at the Carne Asada.
At the Carne Asada. Happy Pride Month. Yay!
Happy Pride, everyone. We love you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening to a Vision podcast, home of Wacky Talkies, The Kingdom, Evil Exists, and many more.